All right, next up is the Ricoh Theta Z1. So the company is called Ricoh Theta, and this model is the Z1. So this has a hefty price tag, as you can see, it's $1,000. And this camera is really helpful for, the main thing that this camera does is shoot amazing photos. This camera is not the best for video. Its video quality is great, and it's pretty smooth, and it's got good audio, but it's not as good as the Insta360 One X or the Insta360 One R. Theta is really kind of carving out the niche for 360 photography. So they have 2 of the 3 cameras that are compatible with Matterport are Ricoh Theta cameras. This camera came out in May of last year, so we're approaching a year of it having been out. But lest you think it's old news, it is still one of the hottest cameras out there. In fact, if you were to go to Amazon right now, today, April 1st, you can't buy this camera. They're sold out and they don't know when they're going to get more in stock. Now, you might be able to get it from the Theta website, the Ricoh Theta website, and these are all screen captures from the website that I'm showing you here. But this is really the best camera if you're primarily going to be doing static 360 virtual tours, like a Matterport tour or like a Cloud Pano tour, or one of the other online softwares where you upload photos and then you go from room to room. You navigate a space via clicking or on your cell phone. So you can see from the design here, it is a slick looking camera. I actually really like this shirt pocket look where it can kind of fit in your shirt pocket right there. They haven't changed their design a lot because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It looks great. The LCD panel on this camera is excellent. It connects via Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. It has built-in memory, 19 gigabytes of internal memory down here, which is a good amount of memory, especially if you're emptying your camera out every time after every shoot. You're not going to run into problems there. With the exception of video, you could potentially run into the problems with video. But the bigger place where you'll run into problems with this camera if you're shooting video is the battery. The battery only lasts about 40 minutes shooting video, so which is not bad. Usually a 360 walkthrough, if you walk around a house, is going to take you 5 to 10 minutes if you shoot a couple times. They run between 3 and 6 minutes if you're shooting a video walkthrough, and then stills, it can last a lot longer on stills, but the battery life is not amazing on this, but I think it's mostly sufficient for what you need. Photos are excellent, A+ on the photos. There's nothing that compares to this camera on the consumer level with photos, in my opinion. It's got a really slick looking body. It's slim. The LCD is very helpful and very bright. Now this camera records in 4K video, which is plenty for what you need. YouTube only allows a maximum of 4K 360 video at this time, and it has really good, the video looks great. I still prefer the Insta360 newer cameras in the video, but mainly because of the stabilization software. Now another thing that's nice about this that most agents are not going to be that interested in is the compatibility with Adobe Lightroom, with stitching photos together and such. Most of the Theta will also stitch the photos together in the camera. You don't need to do this, but if you want to do some really slick photo editing on your computer, you can do that with this camera. Now the software on this camera is really good as well. It has a great app. The app is really simple. There's desktop versions too, but you don't really need it, to be honest. What I like about this camera is the videos and the photos you can use just straight off the camera, plug it into the camera or wirelessly sync it in to your camera and then upload it directly. Everything is already ready to go. It's pretty simple. It's pretty cut and paste, drag and drop, simple to work. The stabilization's okay, it's good. It's not great, but it's good. And the sound quality is sufficient. So you can see my ratings at the end of this video. I have a little chart that can show you my personal opinions on each of these. And the last thing on this camera is it is Matterport compatible. In fact, it is the best consumer camera for Matterport tours. So where I would recommend this camera over any other cameras is if you're going to be doing mainly 360 tours that are not video are mainly Matterport tours. If you're going to be doing static 360 tours, which you can do so much with static 360 tours, you can insert videos into them, you can insert audio into them, you can get the dollhouse view, you know, that slick Matterport dollhouse view. They're not the only company to offer that, but they're the best. They're definitely the Rolls Royce. But this is the camera for you if that's what you're looking to do. And just in summary, captures great 360 video and images, specifically images. You can see the pixel count there is just crazy high, 6,720 by, I mean, who ever heard of such a big file? And they look stellar. Many of the course files that we're going to use in this course were shot with the Ricoh Theta Z1. So I have this camera as well, and I love it. The reason it can get such great images is actually not the pixel count, but this huge sensor. It's a 1-inch CMOS image sensor, which basically just means the hardware that receives the visual data is much bigger. It's an inch as opposed to smaller CMOS image sensors in other cameras. This is one of only 2 consumer cameras that I know of that has that, maybe 3, but it's excellent. And they have the best hardware-software combination for photos. Great LED, great software. I forgot to mention this. This camera also shoots in RAW DNG, which is, if you know anything about photography, RAW is where they have all the color data and a lot of the image data. JPEG is a compressed file format, so it kind of squishes everything together to get the best overall look. But RAW keeps all that information so you can play with it a lot in post-production software like Photoshop or Lightroom. There's a lot you can do with still images in that. And the one feature that I forgot to mention on here is that this has 4 mics built into the camera. So the sound is really good on this. It's 4 cameras in different directions. So maybe you have wind noise from one direction, but a speaker from another direction. It will minimize that wind noise with 4 different microphones.